You're listening to the Paul Higgins podcast for SaaS consulting partners ready to scale beyond six figures without more work or a bigger team. Let's dive in. What if I told you that a boutique Salesforce partner in Switzerland is winning against big players by doing the exact opposite to what most Salesforce firms do? While everyone else is fighting over the scraps, this founder built his practice by saying no to the wrong opportunities and positioning himself as a true customer experience advisor, not just another SI or implementer. Hello, this is Paul, and welcome to my podcast, episode 628. Too many Salesforce partners are stuck competing on price and chasing every deal. Meanwhile, boutique partners like today's guest prove there's a smarter way to build profitable consulting practices. And in this episode, I talked to Cyril Louis from Mavericx, and he's based in Switzerland. And you're going to learn a couple of key things. One is how to transition from transactional implementer to a trusted CX advisor, and why this dramatically improves margins and client relationships. How community leadership drives growth, and how dedicating 10% of your time to sharing expertise positions you as the go-to expert. And finally, how AI is reshaping customer experience delivery, plus specific tools and approaches working right now in 2025. And there are some absolute rippers that Cyril recommends. Cyril has 17 years of digital experience in CRM and customer engagement. He's worked on strategies for customer-centric and data-driven companies via customer journeys. Cyril also regularly shares best practices on omni-channel customer experience and has been recognized by Salesforce as an MVP, Lightning Champion, and user group leader. What I'll do now is hand you over to Cyril Louis. Cyril, great to have you here.
Thank you very much for that opportunity.
Yeah, well, we're recording this in June of 2025, and sadly, I have to say you're living in one of the safest countries of the world, if not the safest. I think we're fifth from Australia, so you and I are fairly safe, but just thoughts go out to everyone at this time. It's terrible time in history, and hopefully we move through it quickly. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about you and your fantastic career with Salesforce and CX. But why don't we kick off with who is your ideal client and what problems you love to solve?
Yeah, sure. So actually, we are a consulting firm, and our ideal client is mid-sized company, usually retail, financial services, and luxury pricing, because we're based in Switzerland. And actually, we are mostly leveraging Salesforce capabilities to help them to solve how to struggle regarding the end-to-end customer experience value chain.
Fantastic. And did you start mid-size? Was that where you started, or did you work your way up, work your way down? How did that happen?
Yeah, it depends. It's a long journey, but for the company itself, I would say when you're the last one in the room, you have to build the trust. You have to find customers that will trust you first. So it's an alignment with the mindset and the way to deliver the project.
Yes.
And since the company is small at the beginning, so we can find similar mindset with small companies. They understand the value, return on investment, being pragmatic. So we started with small and medium businesses. Now we see the best fit with mid-sized company, but we're also supporting and guiding enterprise company.
Great. And so you live in Switzerland. Geography-wise, what sort of geographies do you cover?
Yeah, so Switzerland and Geneva in particular is very specific city, I would say, because we have a lot of great, well-known, internationally known companies. Could be actually a mid-sized company, but with worldwide known. But we also have big HQs, so it's also an opportunity to support customer outside Switzerland. We are working with customers that we are supporting them to deployment across 10 plus different countries around the globe.
Yeah, fantastic. And I know that you said, you started humble as sort of a boutique firm and have sort of grown it. From, your experience, what has helped with that growth? Like, I know often the big partners take a lot of the energy. They suck it out of Salesforce and they sort of take it out of the proposal process sometimes. What's helped you guys stand out as a boutique firm to begin with?
I would say expertise is one of the like unmissable value to ensure growth of your company. So you need to be focused on your own expertise and to align with the technology. So if you're like a boutique for, let's say, Salesforce, you need to stick with the Salesforce vision.
Yes.
And the second one is the proximity, being close to the customer itself. So physical proximity, but also intellectual and ecosystem proximity, being close to the product owners, to the account executives, to other niche firms that are also working and serving the same ICP is an accelerator for growth also.
Great. And is, all of the major SaaS players have laid off a lot of people over the last couple of years. We are in 2025 as we're recording this. How much is that relationship with Salesforce, the AEs, etc., how much has that changed in your experience, in particular of late?
Yeah, the relationship changed a bit. So sorry for my Salesforce friend that might hear or listen to the podcast. It used to be more a partnership, so working all together. And then obviously Salesforce is a company. Salesforce is looking for performance and productivity and growing their own business. So now the relationship with the boutique like us, it's much more they're expecting us to bring new leads instead of working together on the market to define a specific go-to-market and to address the market. Now they just want us to bring more leads. So they're, I would say, much more waiting for us from us.
Yes. And in this time, like, is Salesforce and the brand, the fact that it's American, has that brand been impacted lately because of, what's been happening across the globe with the US, in particular, a president that's head of the US at the moment?
Yeah, very good question, because we faced that very recently. A CIO told us that because Salesforce is an American firm and because of the situation of today or the lack of stability on the decision, I would say, they said that they would like to reduce their impact on business with American company. It's quite recent. Prior to this, in Switzerland, the more often topic, or I would say issue raised, was about the data residency, because Switzerland is Switzerland, so we have a strong background regarding data residency, security,
Yes.
and Salesforce change or address that specific, what they call hyperforce. So they have now servers here in Switzerland to ensure data residency and to ensure also to leverage the data encryption, to solve and to answer that type of issue.
Yeah. I just, often we have a lot of American Salesforce people come on the podcast, but not often we have Europeans. I wanted you to ask that question. Just a reminder, this is episode 628, and all the show notes and links to Cyril will be in the show notes. I know that you're involved heavily in the ecosystem, events, communities, partnerships, etc. Just tell us how that has helped, why you did that and how that has helped the growth of your business.
Yes. How everything started, actually moved in Switzerland something like 10 years ago. And before that, I was living in Paris, in France. And I started to join some local Salesforce communities to learn from them. Then when I landed to Switzerland, I wanted to feel the same kind of community. I started to look around. I just found only one Salesforce community that was, back in the days, a developer community. I am not a developer, but I joined that community. And talking with the leader at that time, he just told me, but what about building a new admin community or a generic user group in Geneva, and that you will be the leader? And I said, okay, I was not anticipating that, but why not? If no one is here to animate the community, let's do this. So this is how everything started. It was just to bring the people in the same room and share return of experience, best practices. And now in 10 years, I'm doing this once a month. It also, at the very beginning, it was just about sharing. And now I see that as a growth strategy, because for two main reasons. The first one is the customer and the prospect see you now as an expert,
yes,
a trust lead, as a trust leader, and also the people. So if you would like to hire new resources. They will also see you as a trendy company, sharing knowledge on always on the top expertise topics. So this is first a new strategy to gain more leads, but also a new strategy to be more visible for, I would say, to ease recruitment in the near future.
Great. And rough percent, like how much of your time would you dedicate? 2%, 5%, 10%, as a rough guesstimate?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I would say might be 10%,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more, depending on the month of the year. Because it's not just about planning and animating the communities event here locally in Switzerland. It's also joining other events, being speaker in conferences. So it's a lot of activities on top. All those activities are pro bono, so I'll just do it for the sake of sharing with the community and also learning on the same time. When I'm speaker on a community on an event, I am speaking for one slot, and the rest of the day I am attending session and I am learning from others. So it's really the mindset and the value of that community, sharing, open mind approach.
Yeah, and I know we're going to get in a platform AI discussion in a moment, but from you as in that community doing, speaking, etc., is AI helped you? That helped you make it easier, I suppose, like, your keynotes or whatever you're doing. Like, are you using AI now and that's made it a lot easier and less time consuming, or is it still takes the same amount of time?
For the community topic, AI is also helping us, I would say, the user group leaders, because we can help by defining a global agenda with what could be the great topic to address, and then we just compare with what we've done last year, 2 years ago. We don't want to repeat the same topics or
Yeah.
address the same subject. So sometimes also using AI to give us insights or recommendation on what could be trendy topics that could have a great impact on the community that we should address within the next month. That help us to start or draft an agenda. For the content itself, it's also an opportunity to to find additional resources. I don't rely on 100% AI generated content for my events. I much more rely on my own expertise and experience.
Yes.
Sharing what I've faced, I think it's more meaningful than just reading something that has been automatically generated. Still, it's time saver, so we can use it as an accelerator. And as I told you, it's pro bono. We are doing this on top of our day-to-day job.
Yes.
So if we can save a bit of time, of course, we will use it.
Yeah, yeah. And look, the way that I often use it is similar to this. I repurpose the great conversations I have. So whether it's on the podcast with clients, in sales calls, it's all anonymous, but I basically get my team to take that through the AI, give me the 80/20, and then what I call is red pen rather than black pen. Black pen used to be you start from scratch, and now it's just marking it like you're a teacher. And I think that's made a huge difference. And I think if you've got so much content already there that you can get AI to help do that. I think that can save time. So then you can get more involved in communities like Cyril does. I know that you sort of started as I'll call it Red Ocean, which is like every other Salesforce partner, and you've gone into specific verticals within luxury and finance, which makes sense geography wise. But you've also sort of, gone more towards a CX advisor rather than just purely a Salesforce implementer and SI. So just take us through the reasoning for that and a bit about the journey of how you've gone about that.
Yeah. So the journey that way came from our own customer. They just said, okay, you are good on one specific topic, and what is the next step? What will be the next topic we should focus on? And this comes with the consulting mindset. Customer don't see us as just the doers or the implementation, the one that will configure a solution. They said, you have a good understanding of our issues, our challenge, and you have an answer with a specific solution to solve this. And then what will be the next step if we would like to continue our customer experience excellence end to end? So
Yes.
this is why we started to analyze what could be the best solutions to improve upfront. So I would say before capturing the customer, and then when you have captured the customer, and then adding omni-channel approach. What if I would like to engage or interact with the customer on a channel that Salesforce itself is not providing out of the box? And then it's not just about configuring the solution, but thinking about the revenue, loyalty, CX metrics, co-owning the solution with the customer, challenging the processes, sharing best practices. This is how we switch from purely 100% Salesforce partner to much more now customer experience partner.
Yeah, and I think, for you that have listened to me say this, you've probably heard me say it, hundreds of times, but I think, you've got to really find a particular niche, solve a set of problems for them, and that may be more than just the platform, particularly with AI, which we'll talk about. But, you really are a consultant to a set group of clients. I think that's a much better way of running a business, higher margins, more credibility. You can do your research, etc., rather than being spread thin and getting, Salesforce throwing you leads from every different vertical, or, it just becomes so much more complicated to run a boutique business. It's fine if you're a large business, you want to carry all those overheads, but they talk these days about having, one person $1 billion business, which is, on the cards with the way AI is going. But I'm a big believer in having a smaller team with the highest amount of revenue you can is a great way of running it as well. Talking AI, I know I've prefaced it twice, so let's get to it. For you, what are some really good examples you've seen of AI, firstly, within the Salesforce platform, whether it's Agent Force or whatever, but what are some examples you've seen of it working really well?
So first, there is different kind of AI usage in Salesforce. This will also depend on the maturity of the customer. So if you just say we want to jump on AI because it's FOMO, I just want to go, and then we'll see. It's not a good approach, because with that mindset, you will maybe more likely to bring different proof of concepts in production, but not a global vision. So that will not be scalable at all. It will be like different pieces that would not be interacted, that would not be answering long-term vision. So the first question will be the maturity. The second one will be about the data quality. Obviously, we used to say AI is only as good as your data. If you want to scale, but your data are not ready, this is a no-go. So come back to the basics, gather the data to have enough data to feed your AI model. That being said, this is why you have the predictive AI, then the generative AI, and now the autonomous agent, so autonomous AI. So in Salesforce, we also guide the customer to grow their mindset on AI. So we start with basic ones like predictive AI, having scoring, time optimization, content recommendation. And then we go with the generative AI. You just mentioned Agentforce, so it's a way at Salesforce to have a bit of generating, but also autonomous agents. Yes. This is the next step. Autonomous agent it's a good way to save time, increase productivity, and increase also customer satisfaction, because you can have both options. Having a user agent, so what we used to call a co-pilot. Yes. So the AI will help your internal users, or to expose that agent to your final customers. So this is the customer-facing agents. Yes. Not all the customers are ready to expose autonomous agents to the final customer, because they're not really sure that the agents will follow their guidelines, their tone of voice. So they said, gaining maturity, let's start with internal agents to guide our internal agents. And then when we will be more mature and confident on the output of AI, let's do the next step. So it's a 1,000 miles journey start with a single step. So it's a step-by-step journey, just to be sure about the methodology that you will be applying on AI.
And for predominantly financial services and luxury goods, in your experience, which vertical has been more aggressive on AI?
Retail for sure, because they are used to understand their persona.
Yes.
They are used to segment their audience, to personalize the communication. It is everything about marketing is personalization. We know it's the right message on the right channel to the right person. And it's not just now about the product recommendation, it's how to initiate a conversation after an email. And the email will be sent at the right message, right moment, right message. Okay, this is done. We got it.
Yes.
But now, how to initiate a conversation to create value. And this is how an email should be the trigger of maybe an AI-led process.
And what's that a typical, in your experience, what's that AI-led process looking like?
Could be to facilitate, if we come back to the retail use cases, it facilitates the conversion. You are promoting a product. So obviously like it me Mavericx, I will send a newsletter. Within the newsletter, the content is not the same depending my audience.
Yes.
So it will be segmented, product recommended. How do I make sure that this will trigger something? And that something can be then AI-based, AI leverage in the email, in the landing page, in a conversation, commerce conversation, AI driven. And if you think about the whole process, you can anticipate that process at scale. And in retail, this is exactly what they're looking for, to be reactive and to convert at scale.
And I know you also do a lot of omni-channel. How does omni-channel, so we've talked email, which is obviously one channel and a very important key channel. What other channels are you seeing that AI is, impacting at the moment or making it that channel more easier to convert clients?
Yeah. So I would say conversational message. Could it be a live chat or SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, everything that is conversational using text as a channel. This is currently the channel and the media that is the most, I would say, easy to accelerate with AI. And tomorrow, it will be the voice.
Yes.
In many different industries, speaking to a human is still the go-to because we felt very bad customer experience being stuck in some chatbot decision trees
Yes.
is not solving the issue. So we just want to avoid this kind of live chat, even if it's the live chat with human behind, because we always fear that you have just talking to a chatbot, not an augmented agent. And AI now can also bring the autonomous agent experience with voice.
Yes.
So this will be the next step. We have few vendors trying and initiating solution on this. From my own perspective, it's not ready to be deployed at scale,
Yes.
but definitely it will be the next channel where AI will have a great impact is on the voice channel.
Yeah. And look, I know it's been mentioned quite a bit, but I try to do as much voice rather than type. We've all got a keyboard, but I can see it rapidly happening that we won't have a keyboard and we'll just be talking all the time. And I think it only makes sense to, if the humans talking more and more, that the technology talks more and more back in voice. So it's got to happen. I think, and for you, sorry, just on that is, you talked about platforms. So does that then sort of, as you said, as you go along this CX journey, do you also therefore extend your tech stack and your solutions you provide outside of just Salesforce?
Yeah, there's different solutions. So we try to be technology agnostic.
Yes.
Still, we know where we are coming from. So we are helping customers to increase customer experience, leveraging the Salesforce platform. But the Salesforce platform itself is open by design. So you can integrate Salesforce with external solutions. So being agnostic is also testing, evaluating external solution that can bring value on the Salesforce platform for our expertise. And we are just evaluating external solutions. So depending the use cases, but sometimes also depending the legacy of your customer,
Yes.
you might orient to one or another solution. When it comes to AI, it's similar thing. depending the language that you would like to have. If you're deploying globally, but you will have, let's say, exotic languages. Sometimes the out-of-the-box solution, even the big ones coming from Amazon, are not the best because they are usually focusing on, the top 5 or top 10 languages. And you need to go to the niche players, the one working just on the voice. That can handle very niche or exotic languages to have a better transcript, let's say, or understanding of the behavior, predictive sentiment analysis, etc. There is no one go-to technology.
Yes.
Everything depends on the context and what you would like to achieve. But definitely, yes, you need to anticipate having a look on the market and the ecosystem, especially AI. I think everything is booming. It's not because you have analyzed the market 6 months ago that is the same ranking. So you need to continuously have a look, be curious, test, and it is exactly what our customer are expecting from us.
Yes.
It's time saving. So we've done that before. So we just share with them a short list of vendors that they should have a look to. And coming with that mindset is also being seen as a trust advisor, not just a Salesforce implementation partner that will sell Salesforce at any price, anytime. But sometimes being transparent enough to say, for that part, Salesforce could answer, but you could also integrate another solution. And Salesforce is also meant to integrate external solution, API first platform. So we are not just complexifying the global architecture.
Totally. And I think there's no wrong or right. There's roles for everyone in the ecosystem. It's that big. And Salesforce are also acquiring businesses rapidly. So, they're constantly staying abreast of it to bring that in as well. But I do think it's important not to be the transactional. You can play in that transactional space, but margins are tight, and services margins are very difficult anyway. It's not an easy business model. We all deal with scope creep and all the other things. So I think, the way that you've positioned yourself from an SI into more CX and into that broader is, one of the key reasons why I wanted to bring you on the show today. Just the last quick question on that data quality. Do you work with partners to help with that? Or are you doing that in-house to help clients with the data quality piece?
We have both different approach. The first one is data quality is not just about the quality of the data, it's also quality of your integration, the global ecosystem, how trustable are the data. And then you also need to harmonize all the different data coming from all the different data sources to have something that you can compare and analyze. So it's also a topic of best practices in terms of integration, the monitoring of those integrations, the harmonization of the different data models, and then having a comparable data sets. And then within there is, yes, the data quality. So let's say, is my address with the correct format? So we can use external solution that will do that job. Comparing if the email address is a correct format, is the domain exists, if the email exists, same thing for physical mailing address to format that address, and then comparing phone numbers with international format. You have plenty of actions, could be external solution, could be data transformation rules that we put in the system before to harmonize all the different data sets.
Yes.
So it's a bit of activating and customizing.
Yes.
Usually our approach is time to market. So if a solution exists, we will just recommend a customer to have a look on the solution instead of building custom on top of the solution again and again. Reinventing the wheel makes no sense. The go-to-market is an accelerator for any business.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, look, what we're going to do is just pause and thank our sponsors, and then we'll come back with the rapid fire section. Brilliant execution, terrible strategy. You can solve any client problem, but you're stuck in the same revenue patterns, same deal sizes, same time for money trap. I'm Paul, and I built and sold a 7-figure consulting business, but here's what I've learned mentoring other consultants. The real breakthroughs happen when you combine my experience with live problem solving of people going through exactly what you're facing now. In my group program, Steve works through his VA delegation challenge with Jed. Jed shares what's actually working. Andrew tests his pricing strategy with Casey, and Casey demonstrates his client onboarding system. Everyone's figuring it out together with my guidance based on what I learned the hard way. It's not theory, it's real-time strategic thinking with consultants in the trenches plus someone who's already made the journey. Stop grinding alone. Start thinking strategically. Go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/WWM. That's paulhigginsmentoring.com/WWM. So, Cyril, back for the rapid fire. I'm going to ask you 4 questions and get 4 rapid replies. So the first one is, other than we sort of talked generic about AI, but specific tools that have really impressed you that you use on a day-to-day basis. What's an example of that?
Yeah. So no surprise, we are using ChatGPT from OpenAI to draft communication, to understand global documents. So it's an accelerator.
Yes.
Another one that we are using is also Claude AI from Anthropic. And here it's much more another use cases than compared to OpenAI. OpenAI will be, I would say, to generate content, and Claude it will be much more about for code and capabilities in programmatics, in mathematics, in SQL. And the last one that we've seen and that is amazing and that the team is mostly globally using now is Cursor. Cursor is an AI-powered integrated solution for developers. So within Visual Studio Code, for instance, so you are coding and then you have insights, recommendations, best practices, optimization of your code. You can interact. So this is also for the developer, like amazing.
Yeah.
And we think something that is open source. The name is Onyx. It's a capability for you to build your own system, your own LLM. So you can use your own LLM or activate an external LLM. The main thing here is that you can run locally or on the cloud solution. So it can be on-prem, and it's based on your data. So you will define your data sources. It's a kind of RAG based on your own knowledge. So you don't rely on external sources like anything that you can find on the web. So if you would like to leverage AI locally on your own data, so that solution has been amazing.
Great. And we'll get all those links and put them in the show notes. The next one is, what's a channel that you often see as underrated for gaining new clients? And it's, it could be something we've already talked about, or it could be something new.
Yeah, maybe something that we discussed is the being within the ecosystem. So with your community, sharing, and then you will give back. So you're not sharing to have something back, but it is the way the world is built. Sharing without expecting specifically something in return, but then the market will see you as a trusted advisor. And another one will be the private referrals and one-to-one proximity. And this will beat any cold campaign. So if you're close to your customer, this will lend to high-paying clients.
Yeah, very true. The next one is, other than the communities, where else do you go to learn more about driving Mavericx?
Oh, good one. We are attending conferences. So it's not just about a community, it's coming from the vendor themselves. So you have the vision and you have the latest innovation. So attending conferences to learn from the key speakers. So this for us is a key differentiator to remain on top of the technology.
Great. Last question. You've been in the ecosystem for 15 years now, started very young. What do you know now that you wish you had known earlier?
Oh, I would say saying no. So how to say no to someone. So define also your no-go, where you would like to go, where you don't need to go. And, growing is not going everywhere. It's going smarter. So maybe productize the approach earlier.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. Cyril Louis, episode 628. And as I said, some of those great platforms that Cyril mentioned we'll have in the show notes as well. But it's been a joy having you on. And I think you're their first guest from Switzerland. I look forward to more of your colleagues coming on. Thanks, Cyril.
Thank you very much.
Great interview with Cyril Louis, and you can tell he's a fantastic guy. And if you're tired of competing on price and being seen as just another Salesforce implementer and SI, take the page from Louis' playbook. Focus on becoming the customer experience advisor or whatever your vertical is, and actually Get involved in your local community and don't be afraid to say no to opportunities that don't fit in your vision. You can watch this episode on the Paul Higgins Mentoring channel on YouTube, and I'll see you next time on the Paul Higgins Show. If you've got value today, hit subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and reach out. Let me know you've listened. I'd love to hear from you.